This is part 2 of a module that is using Illustrator to create comic bubbles and comic text. I also have some preset files for many of the kinds of bubbles that get used. Speech bubbles or effects bubbles. And I make use of those, a combination of those and tools, shape drawing tools in the Illustrator toolbox. So when I'm using rectangular descriptive panels, I try to kind of roughen them up using a filter. There's a roughen filter, and that just gives it a little bit of a less mechanical shape. For this bubble, I'm actually drawing the shape of it. It's supposed to be sort of indicating a quiet sound, somebody sleeping, or a whisper. And when you hand draw, you need to close off the last 2 points so that you can fill it. And sometimes they need to be fixed up, cleaned, have points removed. And then I just fill it. And the point size on the edges of the bubble is 1 point. And on the edges of the panel, I use 2 point size. So here I've pasted in my preset bubble, and I sort of combine it with an ellipse and just make adjustments to fit the text. And then I select both, and using the Pathfinder tool, combine the two. And remove any points, extra points that seem to have become part of the shape, that distort the shape. And then I have to make adjustments. It's a little hard to see the pull tools and the points from the vector image, but if you know anything about vectors, it should be self-evident. And again, this is another soft voice, so I'm hand drawing and cleaning up and fixing the last 2 points. And removing any points that are extraneous. And then filling the bubble. So I've now created all the bubbles, and the next thing that I need to do is create the panel edges. And depending on the shape of the panels, sometimes the panels are odd shapes, and that's when I use the pen tool just to follow the line, these odd shaped. And as I said before, I use a 2-point stroke. And then close off the shape, and then put a white fill on it. And in this particular setup, which, as I say, is not consistent with every page, every particular situation in terms of the comic, just kind of like in some way dictates the shape of the panels. The panel borders that extend beyond the border of the page, that's all going to be adjusted in Photoshop using, just using an eraser. So now I need to get rid of my image template because I've completed everything that I needed to do in Illustrator, and I'm saving the file.